And welcome to the Crawford Podcasting Network for another episode of All Rell and Good with former Michigan standout Richard Rellford out of Riviera Beach, Florida, number 40 in your program, number 1 in your heart. He's my man. And I'm going to tell you, Richard, this is, we share the year 1964. There's a sense of commonality about 1964. Okay. First of all, it was a year that you were born, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, you were born in 1964. That was the year I became obsessed with the University of Michigan as an 8-year-old. I was going to football games, and I saw live my favorite athlete of all time, Cazzie Russell. Cazzie Russell, yes, right there, baby.
Yes.
When I was 8 years old,
Michigan basketball player.
Yeah. So when I was 8 years old, I decided I'm going to Michigan because of Cazzie Russell. Man, what kind of a fanboy is that?
Well, I should tell you, because you're a big Cazzie Russell fan.
Yeah.
Cazzie is like my father because I tell everyone the story. I was in the NBA because of Cazzie Russell.
Really?
And what he taught me
how's that
when
happen?
I played in the CBA. Okay, I was in the CBA, and I got traded to Wyoming from Rockford, Illinois, where we went to the championship the year before. Okay. And I was trying to figure out, you traded me to who? And it was because Cazzie Russell requested the trade for me. And when I went out to Wyoming, I was already the second leading scorer in the CBA. And Cazzie took me, and I was there for 2 weeks. Now, this is after being in the NBA and sent to the CBA by the Indiana Pacers after draft.
Yeah.
Then a whole year goes by, and Cazzie pulls me out of the CBA to Wyoming. And in 2 weeks, I was gone and signed for the rest of the season with the Spurs. And that's all because of Cazzie.
Wow. Now that's pretty compelling stuff there, Richard Rellford, of why you like Cazzie Russell.
Listen. And also Cazzie, at that time, Cazzie was like 55.
Yeah.
And he could still dunk. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. Now Cazzie Russell, okay, so Cazzie Russell, and I'm gonna show this picture. Okay. He's like you. He never lifted a weight in his life, but he was muscular. Yes. He was 6'5", 220. Okay. I think he was like, 6'5", somewhere, and I remember that. I mean, the guy could shoot, man. The guy could fire the ball, man. He was instant on. When he was with the New York Knickerbockers, you're too young to know, young man. He was instant offense.
Oh, no, I know about the Knickerbockers.
Yeah. When he came off the bench with Dave Stallworth and another guy named Mike Reardon, and just Bill Bradley, who he beat in the holiday tournament, they were down like 15, and Cazzie brought him back when Bradley fouled out of that game. I'm going off on tangents here, but
that's okay.
He was just instant offense. But you, Richard, when you came to Michigan as a freshman in '82, you had a little bit of that Cazzie Russell because you were like put together as a freshman physically. And without even lifting a weight, which once again, I say, I hate people like you, but that's the way kind of you were, right?
Yeah, listen, guys from Riviera Beach, Florida, Palm Beach County, period, all big like me. A lot of them were big, just like I was.
Really? Now, what was it? The water or the competition or what?
It was the competition because the guys coming from Belgrade, Florida were so athletic. Evident by the football players that we have now. And so they pressed you because we had good guys from Palm Beach County, but those guys from Belgrade pressed you and you had to be ready.
Okay. So what was Riviera Beach, Florida like growing up at Suncoast High School? What was that like? Tell me about the town and what it was like for you being brought up in it.
I loved it growing up in Riviera Beach because the old guys who played looked out for you. They made sure none of the bad things happened, the gangs and getting into it, and with kids that you didn't have your best interests involved. But one of the cool things too, Tom, was, in every small town or any urban town, you're going to always have guys that, are not good guys, drug dealers or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, in Riviera Beach, Florida, the drug dealers looked out for the athletes. They never let you get involved with anything.
Whoa, that's a shocker. Wow, that's different.
Oh yeah. They wanted you to make it because they wanted to be a part of you getting out. And for me, those guys helped me. They helped Anthony Carter, and they just made sure that you were safe. And they let every other drug dealer in the neighborhood know he's off limits. That's what I loved about Riviera Beach.
That's unique because that's not usually the case, because that's what the athletes are fighting, getting sucked into that because of the pressures of people that go that path to bring you in, like in LA, that you hear about that all the time. Well, so you came in the fall of '82 to the University of Michigan. Anthony Carter, AC, you talked about. He came in there in September or August for two-a-days in 1979. And the famous story that he got homesick early on and flew home to Riviera Beach, Florida. And Bo had to get on a plane and go chase him and bring him back or something along those lines. I mean, you're younger than him, much bigger than him, but physically, I mean, he was an unbelievable player. What was it like looking up to Anthony Carter in Riviera Beach growing up?
Well, just to kind of get the story good for you. Well, Anthony didn't leave Michigan because he was homesick. Everybody says that, and I always start laughing.
Well, then that's why I threw it out, so you can set the record straight.
Right. Well, he left because they promised him that he would wear the jersey number 21. They didn't. Well, Evan Cooper had 21.
I remember Evan Cooper.
And Anthony was unhappy, and so he left. And everybody's like, "Oh, he couldn't handle it." No, it wasn't that. He felt like they lied to him. So Bo flew down. I was at the gym. At Wells Recreation Center in Riviera Beach.
Okay.
Anthony, we all played on Saturdays at this gym. All the college guys that were in town and all the guys that were in high school and we were growing up. And Anthony was inside. We all playing. And I'm not kidding you. One of his old teammates from high school, Suncoast, that played football with him, you have those jealous guys.
Yeah.
And him and Anthony got into a fight. I can't say a fight because Anthony hit him one time and it was over. And
whoa, back up the boat here. So Anthony at 5'11", 160, knocked this dude out?
Listen, Anthony was about 6 feet. So he'll get on if I tell you he's 5'11", because he wasn't 5'11".
Okay, but come on. I mean, he was very slight build. He's not like you.
176 pounds.
Okay.
That's how big Anthony Carter was.
Okay.
And he got into this big fight, man. And like I told you, how I just said all the guys looked out for us. Well, as soon as that happened, Anthony and this guy went outside. The whole gym shut down. And when I tell you, Tom, Anthony Carter didn't want to fight this guy. So the guy is coming towards Anthony, and Anthony is backpedaling. And the guy is running full speed. And Anthony could not catch Anthony backpedaling. And when Anthony stopped, that's when they got into the scuffle. And all of us kind of stopped it. And when I tell you the next day, Bo was here. Bo Schembechler was here. And Anthony Carter was gone. Back to Ann Arbor.
So how big was this dude that was coming at Anthony? Big dude?
Well, the guy played fullback. So he was about 5'9", 5'10", but he was about 210 pounds.
Okay. Wow.
Because
not a fair match.
He was a running back.
Yeah.
No, not a fair match. And we in Riviera Beach, there is no things of double teaming. You was not going to double team someone. If someone got in a fight, well, let them fight. Just them two. That's what's so different about things right now. Now kids don't fight anymore. They go pull weapons. They don't realize when you shoot this kid, you kill him, he's not coming back tomorrow.
Right. So let me ask you this, Rich. Okay, so Bo comes down there, and how old were you at that time?
I'm
Oh, so
about
you're
15.
you're basically a freshman then, right? Are you a
Right.
freshman?
No, I was a sophomore
Sophomore. Okay.
going into my
Did
sophomore year. It was the summer.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Bo know about you? How did he find out about you? All right, because he actually was interested in you, right? At the or was it
Yes.
or did
Yes.
Frieder hear
Well,
about you and then Bo tried to steal him away from you?
I think it was Mike Boyd first.
Okay.
Bo knew because I played football, but I was a freshman, so he didn't know how good I would become. But
Right.
he found out once Anthony Carter got there. Then he started hearing about Anthony's school because most college coaches recruit, they know what schools have. Because from my high school, Devin Hester played. And
Oh
Devin
my
Hester is
God.
the all-time leading punt returner in NFL history.
Oh my word. That's
Yeah, so we
unbelievable.
have some pretty good football players.
Right.
Anquan Bolden is also
Uh,
was in our conference. He was in our conference.
why is Florida high school football so good? I mean, is it just because the weather is good and everybody's working out? Well, what is it? Is there a special emphasis on it, or what is it?
Well, first of all, we get to play football all year round because of the weather.
Okay.
But for most guys in Riviera, well, not only Riviera Beach, but Florida, a lot of the way to get out from where we're from, grew up, well, sports was it. And it was either football or basketball.
Right.
And we looked at it as a way out in order to come back to help our town. And that's why
No, I
I
get
think
it.
it's so good, you know?
Right. Well, let's talk about this Michigan basketball team. This is crazy. They played Sunday, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But you're off from Sunday, which was the 13th, all the way to Christmas Day. You're like 12 freaking days, no games. What would that be like if you were going through that and you're stuck on campus,
Well,
whatever, as a player?
well, we would be going crazy because we'll be tired of each other
Yeah.
because all you're doing is practicing against each other.
Yeah.
And believe me, I'm sure Juwan had a few fights
Yeah.
because that's what happens when we play against each other for 2-3 weeks and you don't got no games.
Right. No, I understand that. Well, let's talk about this Michigan Wolverine team. Hey, they're undefeated. They haven't played a lot of games. They beat Penn State 62-58 the other night. Your man Hunter Dickinson, who Dickinson is one of those guys that you pinpointed when we were in preseason. You said keep your eye on this dude. He's going to be good. And once again, he had 20 points. Austin Davis did not start because of that injury, plantar fasciitis or whatever it's called, and that's a deep concern because we talked about that last week. But 20.7 boards for one Hunter Dickinson. Boy, he's just the leader in the clubhouse as far as the most consistent player on this team, don't you think, Rich?
Well, without a doubt, he's the most consistent. But I also think he's one of the guys that knows his future.
Right.
Because just like Wagner, just like Livers, those guys know their future. And I think they're very lucky, Tom, to have somebody like Juwan Howard. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and why do you say? You don't have to sell me on Juwan Howard, but maybe to our listeners out there who might say, well, he's having great recruiting classes, and they were pretty good last year, but they were, this defense and that John Beilein had was much better, and also John Beilein's teams took care of the ball a lot better than Juwan's teams have so far. Remember that one game against Oakland, we had like 15 turnovers in the first half. What do you say to those people when you're trying to, talk about Juwan?
My thing is I know people are going to talk about Juwan, about some of the things that go on, the difference between him and Beilein. What I want to understand is Juwan is a 20-year NBA veteran, and his basketball knowledge is amazing. And these kids get to experience, especially the guys that want to go to the next level. Right. Who's better to talk to than a guy who's played for 20 years? That's like sitting down, talking to you who've been broadcasting forever. There's no better experience than from guys like you and guys like Juwan listen, if I was back in this era and Juwan Howard came to my house, I don't even care who I was thinking about signing with. I'm signing to go to Michigan, wherever he is, because I know my chances of going to the next level are going to be greater.
I mean, you know him very well, and I really think he's a good coach, and I think, to be honest with you, he's surrounded himself with. He's got some great assistants, on this team. I still think it's a learning process.
Martelli legend.
Phil Martelli,
Martelli's a legend.
I mean, that's invaluable to have somebody like that. Sadie Washington is another really good up, and that guy's going to have offers. There's no question about it moving forward. So he's smart enough to realize you have to surround yourself with good people, right? In order to be good.
I've always believed that. You surround yourself with guys with knowledge, and they have more than you have.
Yeah.
And Martelli has been in the fight. And
yeah.
Juwan being with Pat Riley and those guys, he's been in the fight. So now I told you, Martelli is one of those guys that, coaches like him don't forget things.
Yeah.
And I say that because I told you a year ago, I was walking in the airport in Detroit coming back from Florida. And I see Coach Martelli. And I go to introduce myself. And he says, "Hey, Mr. Rellford, how you doing?" Because I had on a Michigan jacket. And I was just trying to tell him, I was getting ready to say, "Coach, I played at Michigan as well." And he knew all of that already. And that's when I said, this is going to be
Are you kidding me? Wow.
We're going to have some fun.
Wow. Because I think there was a disconnect with that, Richard. I mean, I want to ask you, as candid as you're willing to answer the question. Okay. So, Fish leaves, and you played under Fish. He was an assistant coach, drew up all the plays that you were telling me about last week on All Rell and Good. So you knew Fish. So in come, Brian Ellerby comes in. We know all the saga after that happened. Michigan, he was on probation, and Tommy Amaker. When Brian Ellerby and Tommy Amaker were the coaches before Beilein got there, what was it like as a former player? Now, you were overseas and everything, but was there any outreach to former players? Does Butch ever talk about that? Did you guys feel part of the program or not?
Yeah, well, we've always felt part of the program because we won championships, and they treated us as such, as still a part of the program. With the other guys coming in, especially when they got Amaker, they got a Duke guy. And my whole thing was, he wasn't going to understand the culture at Michigan if you're a Duke guy. I think that's why we always go out and hire Michigan guys, because we have a culture there. And
what's the culture? Can I stop a second? What is the culture, though?
Winning. That's the culture. We win in Ann Arbor because winning is a winning culture. And we have guys that loves to be at the University of Michigan. If you don't love being there and your blood is not maize and blue, well, that's not the school for you. Because when I got there, I kept trying to figure out, what are you guys talking about this hate for Ohio State? And within 1 year, I hated them. Trust me on that one.
Okay, so that's a school-wide cultural thing that probably spilled over from football to basketball. So I think there's something. Maybe that's not all like in the football program right there. Everybody talks about Michigan's got a bad culture. That's why I always ask, what's culture? I mean, I look at culture as toughness. Wisconsin's culture, they're tough. They're tough. They're tough Midwestern kids. Okay, that's a cultural thing for me. Iowa football, they hit hard, great defense. That's the kind of a cultural thing. And when you say, Michigan basketball is winning, but you also indicated it's a love for the university that is part of it too. You said you want to play for the maize and blue. There's part of that element as well.
It is, because with culture comes, like I said, we say winning because we won. When I was at Michigan, in the 4 years I was there, we won 3 championships, the NIT and 2 Big Ten titles back to back.
Right.
When I left, Glendon won the national title.
Yeah.
In '89.
Yeah.
And so before me, we had Phil Hubbard, we had Cazzie, we had a lot of guys that came through there. Campy Russell,
Yeah,
who
Campy was
won.
sweet, man.
They won games. Oh yeah, I talk to Campy now. Me and Campy still
Camp,
talk. But
Campy,
my buddy is
Campy
Phil Hubbard.
had Campy had the he had a better shot than you did, Rich. I'll tell you that. Campy Russell had the sweetest jump shot,
Campy's
man.
tough.
I mean, it was a rainbow. It was a rainbow jumper. It went like way up, and when it would swish, the net would catch up on the rim, because when you have a switch, you have a big arc like that. That's how sweet his jump, a fadeaway, man, smooth.
And listen, I've seen old videos. Of Campy, but I got to tell you, before my boy Phil Hubbard got hurt, he was a monster. Phil Hubbard was a beast.
He heard it. He was there when I was in school. He got so after his freshman year, he has great freshman sophomore year Big Ten or he Final Four in his freshman year, and his sophomore year Big Ten title, and they lost in the regional finals to UNC Charlotte. But then his junior year, he ripped his knee up, and he was never the same. I mean, he still made it in the NBA, but it was a different player. I mean, and they didn't have the medical technology that they do now, to rehab. And so Phil Hubbard could have been unbelievable if he hadn't had that.
Could have been unbelievable.
Yeah,
I agree with you totally on that. And you know what? But he turned. Phil is an awesome guy, and he used to come and work out with us when I was at Michigan. He used to come and work on his game, and we used to laugh because Roy was probably one of the best, if not the best player in the Big Ten, and Phil Hubbard used to school him. I'm telling you. And Phil can jump this high, and Roy used to always try to figure out, because Phil was still in the NBA at the time. He used to say to himself, Roy used to always say, Rich, what is it that he's doing? And I said, Roy, I said, Tarp, he ain't jumping this high. But Phil has mastered the mental part of the game. And he knew exactly how all of us was going to play against him. Because, when you play against an NBA guy, all you think about is, I got to show him I can do this and I can do that.
Yeah, I know.
Phil understood, man. Phil Hubbard understood.
Right. Well, it's so fun to go back in the old days. And I can tell you're connected as a Michigan man you're talking about relationships with guys in different decades. And that's what I think a good program has. And I think Michigan has, Michigan State has it over here. And I think you guys, down in Ann Arbor have it as well, with those basketball alumni. And I think, Juwan obviously is going to be embraced. And I thought John Beilein did a great job of reaching out to the alumni, and he did a better job at it than Tommy Amaker did. There's no question about it. And because I would see more players back.
Well, Tommy, they never reached out to us at all.
Yeah, I know.
But who reached out was Beilein. When Beilein got there, when I tell you, we got emails on the regular from Coach Beilein. And I always remember this. When we first started it, and they were getting ready to play Ohio State, my first time coming to a reunion. And they sent out these emails, and I think you can get 2 tickets and a seat, and it costs you like $500 and something. So, we all work, so we were doing pretty good. So I sent the check in. Coach Beilein didn't email me, he didn't text me, he called me. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Coach, what do you mean?" He says, "I have a check here for you for a game and some stuff that we're giving away." I said, "Yeah, Coach, they asked us." He said, "No, I'm giving you this check back.
Yeah,
you're not paying for anything."
I love Beilein. I love Juwan. I love Beilein.
And that was Coach B.
Yeah, and I that was a really important part of the program, and what Juwan, how he's succeeding is, John Beilein set the foundation for that, and Juwan's taken another level from a recruiting standpoint, and let's see if it turns into championships. I think it potentially could be. So, hey, Rich, great job, my friend, as always. So next time we're gonna talk. The next time we're going to talk will be the day, if it works out with your schedule, the day after Christmas, the 26th, because Michigan's next game, they're playing Nebraska on Christmas Day. That would be kind of weird, don't you think, if you were a player to play on Christmas Day?
Well, I do, but I'm looking forward to that game because one of my former McDonald All-American teammates is from Nebraska, Kerry Trotter.
Okay.
And so we talk
yeah.
about, believe me, we talk about the Michigan and Nebraska stuff all the time.
Well, that will be fun, Rich. Well, great job again on all Rell and Good here on the Crawford Podcasting Network. And Merry Christmas to you and your family, Rich, and happy holidays. And we'll talk to you after the Nebraska game.
Merry Christmas to you guys and happy holidays to you and your family. And Tom, thanks, man. Thumbs up for this. I love it.
All right. Be good. Be safe.